You have failed this city. So, I finally finished watching Arrow. Finally, Arrow is over, and I have a few things to say about it because this is a series that I've been in since the beginning, since 2012, not since the pilot episode, since episode 3. I actually started watching episode 2, but then the recording of it just sort of cut out, and then I didn't finish the second episode. So I started with episode 3, and then I went back and watched the other 2 episodes. So, Arrow is a series that was on the CW, is now finished, it's wrapped up, and this contains spoilers. This video contains spoilers. Like, if you haven't seen Arrow in its entirety, should probably bounce and go watch Arrow and probably some of the crossovers, because I'm probably going to spoil it for you. We'll see how that goes. Here we go. So Arrow is a series that focuses primarily on Oliver Queen. Oliver Queen, who was shipwrecked and was on an island, and now he's off the island, and he's all badass, and he's Batman, Green Arrow-ish. He's a cross between Batman and Green Arrow, basically. But yeah, the comic version of Green Arrow, he is very quippy. He's fun, and he's a lot of fun. But we've had a Green Arrow like that. Like, if you've watched Smallville, Oliver Queen in that series, he's more comic accurate than he is in this series. So if you're looking for 100% comic accurate, you should probably go watch Smallville. Well, Smallville from season 5 onwards, because he starts around season 5. What was it, season 6? Was it season 6? I think it was season 6. Anyway, he's there around that time. And in this series, this series is at 8 seasons, and not all seasons have worked, but a lot of the time it's raw, and a lot of people say to me, it's like, nah, I prefer the Flash, because the Flash, it's fun, it's enjoyable, but it's like, I prefer the realism. That's why I love Daredevil so much, because Daredevil, it's gritty, it's real, and it just feels more like a character story than like a superhero story, and I loved that. And that's what I loved about Arrow, particularly through seasons 1 and 2, and kind of like, it kind of feels like that throughout, but it definitely does go through the phase of like, no, we're definitely a superhero show, so we're here to stay. And that was enjoyable, but I prefer the first 2 seasons where it's like, nah, we're a character story, we're not appeasing fans. But I'll get to that in a second. But the first 2 seasons are my favorite seasons, because they play off of each other. The 2 of them play off of each other. From season 1, he basically, like, the first 11 episodes or so, it's more character episodes, but there are hints to something bigger. And something bigger being John fucking Barrowman being a badass. And if you haven't seen this series, if you haven't seen John Barrowman in Doctor fucking Who or Torchwood, then you have really missed out, my friend. Because John Barrowman is like, you would probably prefer, I love him in Torchwood and Doctor Who, because he's very eccentric. He's one of those characters that's just like, he's eccentric. He's very funny. He's very hilarious, and he will just. Well, he will sleep around with everything. So he's basically Oliver Queen before he got on the Gambit, and then became a badass. Yeah, but in this series, he's more refined. He's more stoic, and he's one of my favorite characters throughout the series. Because he's in multiple. He's in all the. He's pretty much in every series. Well, he's in Flash. He's in Arrow, and he's in Legends. And he's a great character because like, he a simple story like his wife dying in the slums, basically, and now he has to he's trained himself. He's like, I'm gonna level this entire block of city to the fucking ground. I'm not gonna evacuate anything. I'm just gonna kill them all of them, and then rebuild it and be better for everyone. So he's a hero of his own story, and I like that. I like villains that are like, no, I'm the good guy, you're the bad guy, and really he does. Like, Oliver Queen really just gets in his way. It's not like, oh, Oliver Queen, I'm going to beat you. You are my enemy, and I am your enemy, and well, we're gonna fight. No, you just got in my fucking way, so get the fuck out of my way, or I'm gonna kill you. Please. But in the first season, Oliver has this list full of names that his father left him. Well, didn't really leave him, but he found it on his father's body. I'm fine. And now he's going to use that list to bring justice to his city, and he's going to plug every one of those douchebags. And in the first season, he doesn't just throw them in jail. He fucking kills them. Like, every time he would grab his arrow and he would be like, "You have failed this city." Dead. And that was awesome. I enjoyed that throughout the first season, because it's like, you're a vigilante. You're more vigilante than hero. And then when it went into season 2, it's like, I'm going to give up the vigilantiness and be more of a hero. I'm going to grow as a character. I'm going to be better than myself, and most importantly, I'm going to be better because of my best friend. My best friend, he died thinking I was a killer. He died thinking I was a murderer. I killed people, and my best friend shunned me because of it. So I'm going to honor his memory by being better. And in the first season, well, the end of the first season has probably the best cliffhanger in the entire series that actually has payoff. Get to that in a minute. Where Malcolm Merlyn, he actually succeeds. The villain wins. He actually levels the area in which he was trying to level, which is the Glades, or the slums, which is the Glades. And he levels part of it, but he doesn't level all of it. And in doing so, he accidentally kills his son. And it probably leads to one of my favorite death scenes in the entire series. It really does, because it was great. It was so like, oh, because we all have best friends, and no one wants to see their best friend get plugged like that. It was like, oh, yeah. I feel you, Oliver. I feel you. But then when the second season opened, he's like, "I'm not donning the hood again. The hood, it was when I wore this hood, it was kill or be killed. That's how I survive. That's how I win. And if I do it again, I'm dishonoring my best friend's memory. So what's the fucking point? Why would I do it?" And as the episode went on, it was like, all right, I'll do it, but I'm not going to kill anyone. Killing is over. I'm going to put these douchebags in jail, and that'll be the end of it. No killing, ever. And that's his story throughout the season. And also, the best part about season 2 that the rest of the series kind of lost was the fact that the series final, what happens in the end season or throughout season 1, there are consequences to it in season 2. Like, Moira Queen gets on the radio and it was like, I helped build this machine that's going to kill everyone. My bad. And throughout the second season, she's dealing with with those consequences, as well as the city is dealing with the consequences of the earthquake. It's not just a one and done. Nobody ever has to deal with it again. It's something that happened, and now the entire series has to deal with, and now everybody has consequences to that. Everybody's changed. Everybody's different. Everybody they're different to where they were in season 1. Like Roy Harper, who's Red Arrow or Arsenal in this series, in the first season he stole Thea's purse, and then he was a gangbanger, he was a criminal. But then when season 2 opened, he's like, nah, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna do my part to help people, and that way I can be better than what I wanted to be, and that leads him to being recruited by Oliver. And then brings in the best villain, or one of the best villains. I always go back and forth between Prometheus and Deathstroke, but he is definitely, Deathstroke is one of the best villains in this entire series, because he's just so awesome. He's so personal. He's in Oliver's soul, because we were friends, man. We were friends, and you were the reason that the person I love is dead. Now I'm gonna fuck your life. And he kills his mother. And it's like, yeah, you mean business. Episode 15, or at the end of episode 14, when you just see Deathstroke sitting on that couch, and he just looks over, and the music cues up, and it's like, chills through the spine. Whew. But the dude was great. The dude, Manu Bennett, who plays Deathstroke, is one of the best characters in the entire series because he's just so awesome, and he plays the character so well. And at the end of the second season, when Oliver arrests him instead of kills him and just throws him on Lian which is Mandarin for Purgatory, which is also the island that he was trapped on for 5 years. Also, I'll get to the flashbacks in a bit. It's just one of the best episodes where he's like, yeah, I was a killer, but being a killer helped me get here, helped me survive. I survived this island because of being a killer, and you helped me be a killer, and now I'm better. Now I'm a hero, and you helped me get there. So fuck you. Peace, bro. It's one of the best fuck you moments to the villain I think I've ever seen. Like there are great moments, but that's like one of the top. I loved it so much. And then the flashback, like the island is. It's like reverse Lost, from what I understand. Like, in Lost, like, you're on the island, but you're having flashbacks to, or flash forwards, I think, or flashbacks to before they were on the island. And then, then this series is like, you're in the future, but you're flashing back to the island. Like, you're seeing Oliver's progression through the 5 years that he was on the island. And not all of it worked, but most of it was actually very well done. The first 2 seasons and season 5 were brilliant. Seasons 3 and 4 they lost me very much, but it's still a good. It's still very. It was a ballsy move for the creators to be like, no, we're not going to be here for 1 season or 2 seasons. We're going to be here for 5. We have set up a 5-story arc. We get to 5 seasons, great. But if we only get to 2 seasons, well, we'll probably just fill you in like a comic series. It happens. But this series not only got to 5 seasons, it got further. It got to 8 seasons. But you can really tell that they had a plan to have Oliver be on the island for for at least 2 seasons, and then bring him back to at least bring him back to the island for when he gets rescued. But they didn't really have a plan for in between. You could tell that they had a plan for at least season 1 and 2. Those are the planned seasons. Seasons 3, 4, and 5, they're definitely not planned, because you can tell that the fandom really had the power past season 3. Or at least it started in season 3, but it really got there afterwards. Because in in the first 2 seasons, Felicity Smoke was one of my favorite characters. She was the most adorable, attractive, beautiful chicks in the entire series, and I loved her. And I was like, Oliver, you should fuck her right now. Like, you should be with that chick. Like, you're going after Laurel, you're going after Helena, you're going after McKenna Hall, who never came back. What are you doing? There's a beautifully hot blonde chick right there, and she's incredibly smart in all of the right ways. She's beautiful in all of the right ways, and you're not hitting that. You're not trying to hit that. Die on the island, bitch. But then he goes for. Then at the end of season 2, he was like, "No, I love you," and you're just like, yes. But then season 3 opened, and it's like, yeah, all right, they're gonna be together. They go on a date. They get blown up by a bazooka on their first date. Oh, okay. Oliver's gonna be annoyed by that, sure, but then he's gonna get back together with her. No. Then we have to deal with a will they, won't they story arc, and then I'm just like, oh, why? Will they, won't they is one of the worst story arcs that is in conception ever. I didn't like it in Friends. I don't like it here. Because in Friends, it was just like, will you just get over it, please? And in this, it's even more so. It's like, dude, you would need to get over it. Either be with her or just get over it. Go and find somebody else. Go and be like Tyrion Lannister and go to a fucking brothel. Who cares? Just get over it. Because, episode 7 is one of the episodes where I was like, you made your choice, and now you're pissed off that she's with somebody else. Like, that's on you. That's on you. But it's just one of those story arcs that's just like, fucking don't. And Felicity's character just went from so likable to just so annoying, because she was like, when Oliver came back from the dead, she was like, well, you know what? I thought when you came back, we could be together. Like, the two of us could be together. We could, it would change your perspective on things. But you're working with Malcolm Merlyn? Huh. Peace. And it's like, you just went there. Why? You just, And then season four came around. It's like, it's now Felicity's show, because Felicity had the forefront in all of it. Felicity was more of a main character in season 4 than she was in any other season, and wrongfully so. I mean, I liked Felicity's character in seasons 1 and 2, but that was because she was more of a side character, and she was very likable. She was one of the characters that's like, I like you for being you, and if you change, I probably won't like you anymore, because it depends on the change. But the change that they went for more aggressive, more bitchy, more fucking weird. Like the choices, or the weird shit that she does in season 4 is probably one of the most out of place, out of nowhere character story arcs ever, because when she finds out about Oliver's kid, and not only does she find out about, like, understandable, if anybody in a relationship finds out that a dude has a kid that they didn't tell them about, like, I get that they would be weirded out by that. It was like, you had a kid and you never told me? What the hell? But not only did she know why he didn't tell her, because he was given an ultimatum. He was given an ultimatum to be like, if you tell anybody that this kid is your son, you won't have contact with your son ever. That's just your choice. That's the choice you have. That's the choice you have to make. You're like, obviously the mother didn't know, but it's like your life is probably just as fucked up as it was before. Like, you were a playboy before. Like, I get that you're running for mayor now, but you were fucked up before. Am I meant to understand that your life isn't fucked up now? And then when Felicity finds out about that, she's like, yeah, right. And then when Oliver just makes the decision to let the kid go into hiding and didn't consult her about it, she was like, you didn't consult me. I thought marriage was about teamwork, like leaning on your partner when shit gets real. It's like, you just went there. This is not even your child. Like, they go full on. Felicity is William's, like, mother, and like he sees her as a mother now, but it's like, you're not the kid's mother. It really has nothing to do with you. Like, Oliver should be able to lean on you after he lets the kid go. Like, it's like, I had to let him go. But it's like, you didn't need to do that. You really didn't. But they went there, and this is what we got out of it. So, what the fuck ever. Season 4 and 7 are, like, my least favorite seasons of the entire thing. Season 4 at least felt like it had focus. Season 7 just felt like it had no focus whatsoever. It was like, you were just, ugh. And one of my least favorite villains, which is disappointing because the dude loves the role so much. He came back 3 times in all the series, in Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow, and that's Damien Dark, played by Neil McDonough, or however you say his last name. I apologize if I said your last name wrong. But he obviously enjoyed the fact that he was in the show. He obviously enjoyed his character. But his story, or his villain arc or character arc, he never really gets any backstory. Well, he doesn't really get any motivation. He's just like, I'm bad because I'm bad. Like, I'm gonna waste the entire world because why not? Like, they wasted Damien Dark, but they brought him back, and from what I remember of Legends of Tomorrow, I don't watch Legends very much, but from what I saw, they did him a little more justice. He was a little more refined in that series, but, you know, whatever. But one of my favorite. But then when season 5 came, season 5 was like, we're bringing this back into focus. Like, you didn't like the action in last season? Well, we're gonna show you this season. The opening scene of this season, like, the opening scene is just like a party, but then it's like, Oliver's off. He's dealing with a problem, and then it just shows him absolutely wrecking one of the least favorite characters of season 4. And it's like, what, you didn't like season 4? Well, here's us shitting all over season 4. It's like the one dude that got away, he ain't getting away now. And like Oliver, like the opening scene is like, that is the best action scene I have seen since season fucking 2. And it was awesome. It was like, it was blood-jacked, and it was blood. Oh, it was like one of those moments where it's like, yes! And then as season 5 went on, it's like the action, yes! You know how to do action. That's brilliant, because you knew how to do the action in seasons 1, 2, and 3. But in season 4, you were just like, It was like, nope. It was like very choreographed. And the final fight between Oliver and Damien Dark was the worst of the choreograph. You ever as a kid just like have one of those fights where you just like that was the final fight in season 4. I'm not even joking. They were just exchanging punches. But whatever. But one of my favorite villains has got in this season, Prometheus. The dude is fucking awesome. The dude is so. He is a repercussion of Oliver's actions from season 1. Like, the dude was killing people, and it's like, you live this life, you're gonna get like consequences to your actions. And I was like, yes, you know where you're coming from. Seasons 1 and 2 were consequence based. You had consequences for your endings. And season 5 is like, yeah, we know, we know the villain is a fucking repercussion of season 1. That's where we're coming from. And then one of the best cliffhangers in the entire season that doesn't have any payoff. This is another moment where you're like the fans. You're following the fans, and you shouldn't be. Like, you should stick to your guts. Stick to it. If you take all of the main characters, all of everybody's favorite characters, dump them on an island, and then blow up the island, and then just have everybody walk away scot-free, then what was the point of putting them on the island? And season 6 is a mixed bag for me. Season 6 is probably one of those moments where it's like, you could have had a little more focus. I mean, Caden James was probably the least interesting villain. And then Ricardo Diaz is probably one of the most unfocused villains, because he comes in really late. No. He comes in really late in season 6. Like, he's been there. He had been there in season 6 for a while, but then it's like, we just kind of like, well, yeah. And it's like, well, okay, so is he going to be in the next season? If he goes on to season 7, he's gonna be a major problem. He's not, though. Like, seriously, in season 7, I have no idea why they left him alive. Like, they could have killed him in season 6, but they killed him in season 7 randomly, and it's like why? Like, what was the point? What? Season 7 has got to be my least favorite of all the seasons. Maybe if I go back and rewatch it, I might have a different opinion. I doubt it, because I watched the entire season once, and it was like, you just unfocused. You could tell that they wanted to do so much with that season, but they didn't have enough time to do it. And it's just like, you could have smoothed it out a lot better. I really preferred the opening 8 episodes where it's like Oliver's in prison. The entire world knows who Oliver Queen is, who's under the hood of the Green Arrow, and Oliver Queen is the Green Arrow. And they could have done so much with that, but there was never any repercussions for that. He was in prison, and then he was out of prison, and then he wasn't really doing anything with it. The prison sentence or the prison section never actually fed into anything later on in the season. It really didn't. It was just a minor inconvenience. That reminds me of the pitch meetings. Oh, super easy, barely an inconvenience. Those pitch meetings, fucking love them. But it's one of those things where it's like, you should have focused up a bit more. You should have had it planned out. What was the prison section going to actually do for the rest of the season? And it didn't do anything. It was just there for Oliver's in prison. Didn't expect that. But then season 8 came along and it's like, all right, Game of Thrones didn't get a good last season. Dexter didn't get a good last season. We're going to make sure that Arrow gets its fucking last season. And they pulled off the last season of Arrow as well as they probably could have. I love the last season of Arrow. It's just, it's fan service for fucking days, but I'm a fan of Arrow and I loved it. I was there for the entire thing and I loved it. And Oliver does get his "I am Iron Man" moment, but it's awesome because like during the crossover he's Spectre or whatever, and he's like fighting the Anti-Monitor, and he's like, "You have failed this universe," and he like recreates another universe, creating Earth Prime, which I know was from the Infinite Earths comic book series. Like it was a little different in there, or at least in the movie. Like I've seen the movie, the animated movie. At least I think that was that movie. It might have been Crisis on Two Earths for that, whatever. But anyway, I liked that movie, and I enjoyed the fact that they created another universe. They also created a universe where all of the Earths, they're on the same Earth, and it's like, yes. And then they did another thing. They did another thing where it's like, okay, we're going to create the Justice League where the Green Arrow is the reason why the Justice League was created. The Justice League is created because Green Arrow created the universe, and they're all just like, yeah, for Oliver. And the last episode ever of Arrow is probably one of my favorite episodes because it pays homage to the entire series, and it's like we're honoring the legacy that the Green Arrow has created. Like his entire mission was save his city and protect his family, and the last episode just hammers that home perfectly. And but there are a couple moments where I'm like, bullshit, because there was a moment where Moira Queen and Theo, it might have been a moment where it's just like, well, we don't know for sure, but it's like, well, if that's the answer that you're going for, then bullshit. Because they were standing over Robert Queen's grave, and they were like, why couldn't he bring Robert back? And then Moira was like, well, maybe he couldn't bring back the people that made him who he is. And it's like, then why is Tommy alive? Like, bullshit. Tommy's fucking alive, and why is he alive if Robert Queen's not alive? Why is Tommy alive? Tommy's one of the main reasons why he turned good. Why he turned good. Why he started being a hero more than a vigilante. In that case, if Tommy's alive, that story arc never actually happened. So therefore, his character never, and therefore Robert Queen should be alive. Whatever. It was a good moment. It was one of the moments where I was like, bullshit, but whatever. And then as the series ended, Mia Queen is probably one of the hottest chicks in the entire series. I'm just putting that out there, and I really hope that she gets her own series because like they really opened up the possibility for Green Arrow and the Canaries being a thing going forward, like a series going forward, and I hope that's a thing. And another thing, I hope John Diggle, David Ramsey, gets his own series, which is the Green Lantern series, because the dude's just such a likable character, and the dude's awesome, and this series, it's as MCU as the DC universe is going to get, because the DCEU right now is one of those things where it's like it's up in the air whether or not it's a thing anymore. Like, people are just like, what the fuck is happening with the DCEU? Where the DC TV series is just like, well, we're a thing and we have our Justice League and we're actually pretty good. But one of the problems that this series does have, like, and not just this series, but all of the series is the fact that they have to shit out a season every year. They have to come up with something new, something fresh every season, and it doesn't always work. Like, you can really tell with The Flash, because I stopped watching The Flash after a while because it's like, all right, I've seen this before. Sorry, Flash fans, but Flash it's not my thing. I know if you're enjoying it, I appreciate that you're enjoying it, but I really don't. I've stopped watching it, as well as Supergirl, but I might watch Batwoman because I like that kind of ish. We'll see what happens. But anyway, I like this series, and if you like a good Green Arrow series, if you want to see Green Arrow be a badass, then watch seasons 1, 2, and 5. It would be a very good experience for you. You'll enjoy it. You'll have fun. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, please click the subscribe button. And I'll see you next time.